guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been gone a couple of weeks, but I was sick and life got busy, but I'm back now, and today I have another book review for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the book What the Dickens by Gregory Maguire. Now, if the author's name sounds familiar, Gregory Maguire is best known for writing the book Wicked and the rest of the Wicked Years, which is the name of the series. Something that I have read with the Gregory Maguire novels. I have read 3 or 4 different ones by him, not including Wicked, and they're either really good or I can't stand them. It's a hit or miss. And this book, I'm going to wait till the end to tell you whether I actually enjoyed it or if it was a miss or what we got going. So, let's just go ahead and get into this, and then I'll get into my thoughts, opinions, and otherwise on this book. So, What the Dickens by Gregory Maguire. On the darkest night, amidst a terrifying storm, Dinah listens to her cousin Gage tell an unlikely story about tooth fairies known as Skibbereen, who are living in warring colonies right in the neighborhood. Dinah is skeptical, but as the story unfolds and the storm rages, she begins to believe. That is all that is told about the book on the back of it. They don't give much away at all. Now, let's discuss the characters. The first thing to understand about this book is it is written as a story within a story. So the first characters we need to discuss are Dinah, her cousin Gage, and her brother Zeke. Dinah, Gage, and Zeke are stuck inside the house during a major storm that may as well be characterized as a natural disaster, considering they have no power, no water, and are running low on food to eat. They also are in charge of keeping an eye on their little sister, who I believe it says is like maybe 2 or 3. Might be off by a little bit, but I think she's like 2 or 3. She can't talk a whole lot. Her name's Rebecca Ruth. She's not a big part of the story. But Dinah's parents are gone due to some sort of emergency that arose when the storm first began. They had to take off. They left Dinah and Zeke in the care of Gage, who is their cousin. So let's talk about each of these characters one at a time, I guess. So first we have Dinah. Dinah's 10. She comes from a very high religious family. They all do. And she's a big believer in miracles and dreams. So much so that her parents frequently tell her to govern herself, which I've interpreted to mean thinking realistically and thinking things through before she acts on them. Next we have Dinah's older brother Zeke, who is more down to earth and wants to sort of take action. He gets frustrated sitting around unable to do anything. This frequently causes him to butt heads with his cousin Gabe, who is babysitting them through all this. Gabe is kind of more reserved. He's the storyteller throughout the novel, and he's very much a wait and see what's going to happen. They're safe inside the house. They're going to stay inside the house. Someone will find them eventually. Things will go back to normal. That's just where he is. That's his thoughts on it. I want to say they say Gabe is like early 20s, I want to say. Might be off a little bit. I do not remember, but I believe it was early 20s. Now, let's introduce this second set of characters. These are characters that are within the story that Gabe is telling the kids. So, the first character is called What the Dickens. Yes, that is his name. They do tell in the story how he gets his name, but that is his name. What the Dickens. And he's a sort of naive and lost Skibbereen, which in this novel, the Skibbereen are the tooth fairies. He's less than 48 hours old when he experiences this whole wild tale. And to be perfectly honest, he has no idea what's going on. That's the best way to describe it. He has no clue what's going on. The last character introduced is Pepper. She is a spunky and sassy Skibbereen who has been doing this for a while. And she accidentally meets What the Dickens and gets dragged into this whole adventure with him. without even meaning to. She begrudgingly befriends him, and it just leads from one chaotic mess to another chaotic mess. Now, talk about the plot of the story. Notice how they don't cover a lot of it on the back of the book? That's for a reason. So, if they were to cover a lot of the plot on the back of the book, you know basically the whole story. It's not a complicated story. This is very much one of his young adult novels. The story is it's basic. Think fairy tale for kids? That's what it is. That's what that story is. It's an interesting story, take on the story of the Tooth Fairies. I've never heard anything like it before, so that was a good thing. But it's more of a basic book. So if you're picking it up expecting it to be in-depth and detailed like Wicked was, you picked the wrong Gregory Maguire book. Pick a different one, because this one it's definitely one of his young adult ones. Not bad, just different. So, we're going to talk a little bit about what I liked about this book and what I did not. So, to start with, I did like that the story kept me entertained, and it wasn't a book I had to dedicate a whole lot of time or energy to pay attention to. As I said before, it's a very simple story. It's cute, but it's not difficult to think through. It's written in a more simplistic way than the rest of his stories are that I've noticed. And this is one that I've never actually heard of written by him until I found it at a Goodwill. One day when I was looking at books, I literally pulled off the shelf. I'm like, oh, that's the guy who wrote Wicked. Okay, we'll try it. So, this one, like I said, some of his books are really wrapped up in world building, and this isn't like that. Wicked was one that was very in-depth. You had to know the social hierarchy of the classes, the different types of, I guess you'd say social classes that they had to be able to understand the world of Wicked. This, you don't need that. This is just basic. Now, when I'm talking about basic, the thing that I did not like about it is while he wrapped up the story of what the Dickens and Pepper very well, he failed to wrap up the story of what was going on in the real world at the time. Like, you get the most basic of information. Dinah's family is super religious. Something big happened, and Dinah's parents are gone, and they're running out of food and stuff. They do not harp on any of that, meaning that they don't really cover it, which is some good and some bad. You don't get distracted from the Tooth Fairy story by it, but they also don't wrap it up. You have no idea what happened to any of them. And I remember being a little disappointed in that because I feel like they could have gone into a little more detail. I just feel like the end of it was very rushed. Both the end of What the Dickens story and the end of Dinah's story. So that was one of the things that I didn't like about it. Now, overall, I give this book a 2.5 out of 5-star rating. I say this because I did not hate the book. There have been Gregory Maguire books that I didn't like at all. His book Hidden Sea was a complete miss for me. I didn't like it. But I didn't love it the way that I liked Wicked. Now, to be fair, I haven't found a lot of his books that I like as much as Wicked. Because my two favorite books by him are Wicked and Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, I believe it was called. That one was a really good one too, if you need a good Gregory Maguire book. Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. It's a great book. But, so I won't really call it a miss, and I won't really call it a hit either. It will be going to the bookstore because I'm not going to read it again. But with that being said, it could have been a lot worse. It was cute. It was for a younger audience, you could tell. So, yeah, that's my opinions on What the Dickens by Gregory Maguire. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.